Do you know how diseases spread? According to the WHO, there are 10 major ways that germs can get from one person to another. These ways are also how most diseases are transmitted around the world. So let's explore them all. First, we have person-to-person transmission. This happens through direct contact with an infected person. For example, through handshakes, hugs, or kisses. It can also happen by touching their skin lesions if they have any. And if a person has an infected wound or is bleeding, the virus or bacteria can be passed on through contact with their blood. Also, hugging or touching someone without washing your hands first can spread germs. Sharing personal things like towels, razors, or combs can also put you at risk. The second way is through respiratory droplets. This happens when someone sneezes or coughs and doesn't cover their mouth. If you're close enough, you can breathe in those droplets. This is why it's important to always cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. It can also happen if someone talks loudly or shouts, as this releases droplets into the air. The same goes for singing in crowded places or even spitting in public. The third way is through airborne transmission. When an infected person breathes, they release tiny droplets or aerosols into the air. If you breathe in these aerosols, you can get sick. This is more likely to happen in poorly ventilated, crowded rooms like hospitals or clinics. It can also happen on public transport if there's no ventilation. The fourth way is foodborne transmission. You can get sick if you eat contaminated food, or if you eat raw or undercooked meat. This is why it's important to always wash your hands before you eat and to cook your food thoroughly. It can also happen if you drink unpasteurized milk, or if someone else prepares your food, and they do unpracticed good kitchen hygiene. Also, if you eat food that's been prepared with dirty utensils, this can make you sick. Cross-contamination can happen if you prepare food with bare hands, or if you touch raw meat, poultry, or seafood and then touch other foods without washing your hands. This is more likely to happen when you're preparing food at home. But street food that's prepared in unhygienic places can also put you at risk. Eating spoiled food or improperly stored leftovers can also make you sick. The fifth way is waterborne transmission. You can get sick if you drink contaminated water, or if you bathe in polluted rivers or ponds. Swimming in an unclean pool can also put you at risk. If you use unsafe water to cook your food, this can make you and your family members sick. It can also happen if you drink water from a poorly maintained tank, or if the water is stored in open containers. Floods can also contaminate water and make people sick. If you use this water, you can get a waterborne disease. You should also avoid making ice from unsafe water. You can get sick if you share cups or glasses with other people, or if you drink from a bottle that's not yours. The sixth way is vector-borne transmission. Vectors are usually mosquitoes, ticks, fleas, or sandflies. When these little creatures bite you, they can pass on a disease. For example, mosquitoes can pass on malaria, dengue, or Zika. Ticks can pass on Lyme disease, and fleas can spread the plague. Certain types of flies can also carry diseases. Houseflies often land on food, and if that food is left uncovered, they can contaminate it. Cockroaches can also spread bacteria and make you sick. And if you have lice, these little insects can spread infections. Fleas that live on rats can also transmit diseases. And bedbugs, although they don't spread infections, can cause allergic reactions. And did you know that snails can also be a vector for a disease called schistosomiasis? The seventh way is blood-borne transmission. You can get certain diseases if you share needles. This is more likely to happen if you inject drugs. Unsafe blood transfusions were also a problem in the past, but nowadays this is very rare. It can still happen if people reuse unsterilized syringes. If you get tattoos or piercings, you should make sure that the needles are clean. Otherwise, you could get a blood-borne disease. The same goes for organ transplants. If the organ isn't screened properly, you can get a blood-borne disease. It can also happen if you're exposed to someone else's blood in an accident. If a lab technician accidentally pricks themselves or spills blood, they can become infected. And if the equipment used for dialysis isn't clean, patients can get sick. Also, if someone gives you an injection that isn't clean, you can get a blood-borne disease. The eighth way is mother-to-child transmission. A pregnant woman can pass on a disease to her baby during pregnancy. This is known as congenital infection. A mother can also pass on a disease to her baby as she gives birth. Okay? This is known as vertical transmission. Okay? And finally, a mother can pass on a disease to her child through breast milk. HIV and hepatitis B are examples of diseases that can be spread this way. If a mother isn't vaccinated against certain diseases, her child will not have immunity against them. And if the umbilical cord isn't cared for properly after birth, this can increase the chances of infection. The ninth way is animal-to-human transmission. If you're bitten by an animal that has rabies, you can get this deadly disease. This can be a dog, a bat, or any other mammal. If you handle sick livestock, you can also get a zoonotic disease. The same goes for handling animal waste. And if you eat bushmeat that's not cooked properly, this can also put you at risk. Poultry farms where there's an outbreak of bird flu can be dangerous for farm workers. Your pets can also carry parasites and make you sick. Cats and dogs are the most common culprits. And finally, if you visit a live animal market, you can get a zoonotic disease. If you handle reptiles, you can get salmonella. And hunting wild animals can also put you at risk. If cattle are infected with a disease, you can get it from the dairy products that they produce. The 10th way is environmental or surface transmission. Doorknobs, handrails in buses or trains and public toilets can all carry germs. If you don't wash your hands after using them, you can get sick. Hospital bed sheets can also carry pathogens. If you stay in a hospital, you can pick up a hospital-acquired infection. If you go to the gym, you should avoid using shared equipment unless it's been cleaned. And in child care centers, children can pick up infections through contaminated toys. You can also get sick if you use money, notes, or coins, as these are handled by lots of people. Keyboards and smartphones are also notorious for carrying germs. And the dust in your house can carry microbes. Finally, if medical equipment isn't sterilized, this can put patients at risk. There you have it, folks. The 10 major ways diseases spread from one person to another. Stay healthy and keep those germs away. Thanks for watching. See you next time.